You are at Rants Incorporated, where I rant about whatever my $10 a month plus patrons want me to rant about. You can get one of these by being one of those. This one's for Dark Alley, who says, "May you please rant about Shallow Rewards, aka Chris Ott. While I have heard you mention him in passing before, I would like to hear you rant about his content, writing style, and any subsequent influences you may have derived from his videos, podcasts, and written blog posts." So, Chris Ott is a music writer, I guess, just in general, who did a video series called Shallow Rewards, essentially a vlog series. I don't think the videos are scripted. The man is unbelievably eloquent, extremely quick at telling stories, pulling together great word choices, and I mean, having heard the interview that Anthony Fantano did with him before, it just seemed like that's just the way he talks. You know, he has a very intense focus, I guess, and so he tells some of them are just like meditations about the state of the industry or reviews of certain works, but from a very like pulled back perspective, rarely talking specifically about the music, but more about the whole context surrounding it. Sometimes giving like histories of certain bands or certain events, moments in time. If I had to pick a video that stuck out with me the most, it's probably the one about Lollapalooza, partly because, on that tour, my parents were vendors, and I was there for 2 of the years. I think at least 1 year. I don't remember if I was actually there for 2 years, but I know I was on this tour for at least a year, and so it was interesting to hear about it from the perspective of somebody who actually went to Lollapalooza, and it was from that video I learned about the band Mercury Rev, because he played a segment from Chasing a Bee at the end of the song that I thought was the coolest sounding thing I'd ever heard, so I immediately investigated, and indeed it's one of my favorite songs. So that was really cool. But just the way that he's able to connect such a broad swath of, impressions about different things into one cohesive story without breaking a sweat, almost never saying or I've been trying to get better at it myself, and it was definitely an influence on me in that I started training myself to try to go through like in one go. And if you go through the history of my vlogs, I mean, my older content, I was not nearly as capable of just going and going and going and being relatively eloquent all the way through. There was a lot more stops. There was a lot more hesitation or difficulty with word choice. And, after watching Chris's videos, I think the next video I made after that was my Coheed and Cambria What Happened video, which unfortunately has been taken off of YouTube. But it came out to be like an hour and a half. And, another thing about Chris is that, some of his videos are multi-part series, but the density of them, the lack of unnecessary information is incredible. It's like his ability to create a through line of big ideas chaining into one another. Again, there's doesn't feel like there's any part that's pointless. There's no downtime. So yeah, that adds to it a lot for me as well, as somebody who, doesn't like to have my time wasted too much with a vlogger, is not as likely to consider it super memorable and rewatchable unless it has a certain level of tightness to it. So, yeah, man, lots of great perspective on music, the music industry, music history, certain bands. All of his videos are super interesting. Definitely an influence on me. I tried to copy the style when I did the Denzel Curry videos that I did, the ones about Nostalgic 64 and the fucking Planet Shrooms 32 Zell albums. I did that pair of Denzel Curry videos where I had the camera up in my face like Chris Ott, and I was trying to do his style as best I could. But even on reflection, those ones I just can't do it as well as he does. Not yet, anyway. So, cool shit.